This is your invitation to Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2023 in Novi, Michigan, Saturday, November 11th. The lineup is power-packed. You won't want to miss it. Learn from incredible speakers like Leroy Maines, Keith Kalfas, Caleb and Brittany Allman, Sam Gimble, Weston Zimmerman, and Jeff Joyner, just to name a few. Tickets are on sale now at the early bird registration price of $197. And hurry, because seating is limited to just 300. Now through August 31st, purchase the whole ball of wax and receive a free ticket to LAL 2023, a $200 value. Once you purchase your ticket, you'll be added to our private Facebook group, where you can network with other attendees, get access to the discounted hotel room block, and get the inside scoop for the Friday night party, brought to you by Kohler. Thank you to this year's sponsors, Xmark, Sure Track Trailers, Yard Book, and Boss Snowplow for helping to bring this incredible event to life. We can't wait to see you November 11th, Novi, Michigan, at Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2023. Get your ticket today at lawntrepreneurs.academy.com or use the link in the podcast description. Lawntrepreneur Academy Live.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
All right, guys. So, hey, good morning. We're going to be jumping into another podcast episode here, and super excited about this. We're actually recording this in person, coming at you guys real time. I'm actually hanging in a hotel lobby here with my man, Cornell Mack. What's up, dude?
What's going on, bro?
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
What time is it, bro? I don't even know. It's like 9:30 back at home, 9:15, but back here it's like 7:15.
Yeah, it's crazy. I woke up this morning and it was like, my wife was like, oh, it's time to get up. Like, she just woke up and she was wide awake. And then we looked at our phone and it was 5 o'clock.
5:40 in the morning.
And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't. The sun ain't even out yet. My boys are already working back at home.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Well, that's the thing. I was talking to Rob, Foreman Rob. A lot of you guys know Rob. And so same thing, right? We were 2 hours behind. So I was texting him yesterday, 5 o'clock here, which is, 7 o'clock there. And so we ended up having a phone call later that afternoon. He was asking me some questions about the route. And I go, yeah, dude. And I said, so you guys are pretty much wrapping up. I said, cool. I said, we're going out to lunch. He goes, lunch? He's like, it's like 4:30. And I said, well, it's only like 1, 2 o'clock back at home or back here. And he goes, oh man. He goes, wait a minute. You were texting me this morning. He goes, why were you up at 5 a.m.? I go, I don't sleep. But like, to text over there, at 7 a.m. to get them moving, I got to be up at 5 over here, which I don't have to be. They're pretty autonomous, but it's just funny. So I don't know what time it is, bro. It could be 7 a.m. right now. It could be 9 a.m. We're somewhere in the mix.
I agree, man. It's wild. Like I said, we tried to wake up this morning. I said to my wife, man, I feel like I got so much accomplished already.
Yeah.
And we haven't done anything. We ate breakfast at 7, but when we woke up, she literally was just like, hey, let's go look at the sunrise.
Yeah.
We drove down the bottom of the mountain. We never found the sun, though.
No.
No.
Well, you're in the valley, this mountain range.
You're right.
I don't even know. It's like what's north, south, east, west, because you're just stuck up here on the top of the mountain tip. Mm-hmm. If you guys don't know, a little context, we're at Big Sky, Montana. Is that right? Big Sky?
Yep.
Big Sky, Montana, on top of some mountain. I have no idea. We're, an hour and 10 minutes. What direction, I don't know, but from Bozeman, Montana,
right.
Which you guys might go check out today.
Yes.
A little sightseeing. Mm-hmm. But we're here for Together the Trades Conference. That's the marriage conference that we get to co-host with Caleb and Brittany Allman. A lot of you guys know them, love them. Kid Contractor Podcast. I think they're flying in. They should be landing in like 30 minutes, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Man, they had like a 4:30 out, which means like, then they have, probably an hour layover somewhere because there's like no direct flights. So man, they've been traveling the airport since, 4 in the morning, like 2 a.m. our time.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
That's how it was for us. I didn't even go to sleep. I seen you yesterday. Right. We were on the live show, and I was like, I'm in trouble now. We've been down here for way too long. It was supposed to be 30 minutes. It ended up being an hour and 30 minutes.
Well, that wasn't me. Cedric kept asking good questions, and it was a little bit of me, but he kept asking good questions, and we kept the conversation going. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was definitely fun, but
yeah. Did you pay for it when you get back?
No, not really. No, because we're on vacation,
Yeah,
so it's hard to be mad. I've done, but I do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like
I'll be back in 10 minutes.
She gives me an inch, I take them out.
Oh, I know.
Time.
I'm the same way. Like, I just told her, I'm like, hey, I'll be back in an hour. She goes, I'll see you at noon. I go, I swear to God, we'll be there like 20 minutes for a podcast, 20 minutes. I want to do a YouTube video because you got a bunch of great stuff going on. Your YouTube channel's blowing up too. So I was like, no, dude, like 25 minutes for a podcast, 10 minutes for a YouTube video. She goes, I'll for real see you in like 2 hours. She goes, just get back here at noon, because we gotta work on our speech a little bit more still and just dial it in. But she knows. She's like, whatever.
Or you just never know how long it's gonna. You lose track of time when you're having a good time and you're talking about
things you enjoy,
things in your environment, the things in your element that you already enjoy. So I lose track of time, and especially here, you're around all of these mountains, man. There's a energy and like a majesty to seeing. Like I said this to my wife at breakfast. Where we're from, it's like all buildings and everything, right?
Okay.
There's like hills and you see hills, but man created all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you get out here and you see all of this stuff that God created.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? And
that's a good way to put it.
I've never seen anything like this.
Were you looking out the window, plastered, on the airplane like a little toddler, looking out the window, looking at the mountains?
I almost crashed a few times because we're driving.
Going up. Well, not the airplane.
No,
I said don't crash the airplane.
Well, we sat at where the wing was at, so terrible view.
Yeah, that's not
terrible
cool.
View.
Yeah,
and United was like acting like the plane was full and it wasn't. So you
could move nothing.
Oh yeah, you could move. I did move.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like that guy at the stadium when you see, hey, there's no one sitting down in that section.
Go someone move up.
I need to be in that section. Right?
Just do the cell phone thing when you walk past the usher.
Yep. And so it just happened that like where the wings were, people weren't trying to sit in those seats.
Right.
So they were wide open. So me and my wife were just like,
hey, spread out.
Yeah, we gonna move here.
You didn't fly Spirit like Jeremiah?
No.
Did you hear that episode?
No.
On the Marriage Monday they were talking about they flew Spirit to Vegas, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And they got nickeled and dimed for like everything.
Yes.
So like the ticket's like $34.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually like add up, like I said, like if you want a seatbelt, if you want to bring your bag, if you want to bring your wife, like they just 25, 50, 50. He's like, man, we spent like $400 on flights. We could have just flown Southwest.
Yeah.
And I said, that's how they get you, man. But speaking of which, driving up the mountain, I can totally relate. That's a funny story. Like, because it's about an hour drive straight up. And it's all bendy, curvy, and there's like this cool like river creek thing the whole way up. Yep. And people are whitewater rafting and fly fishing?
Yep.
I was like, that just looks beautiful, man. These people are just like, it's a fun, peaceful area.
We take, like I said to my wife, like I don't want to take this for granted.
Right.
Because I've never seen anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
You're from Metro Detroit area.
Similar stuff. I mean, it's all flat land,
Yeah. But I'm used to, in Pittsburgh, it's like everything is close. It's small and everything's close together and there's like old rusted out mills and everything. Yeah. So there's a lot of cool like visuals there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
Where it's just like I said, majestic, man. It's beautiful out here.
What did you think coming up the mountain with all the windy turns and all the people just laying fishing and
yeah, it's crazy. And then you see like I've never seen a real mountain. Like I said, you see hills in the distance when you're driving through from Pittsburgh to anywhere else. You see hills.
Yeah, is
what it looks like. Even though those would be considered mountains, like the Poconos or whatever. But I'm talking about peaks where it's like
there's still snow.
Yeah,
it's July, bro.
Crazy.
There's still snow up on these things.
Yeah, and it just can't melt for some reason. And you look up there and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, wow. You feel small. Yeah. Like we are just a small. Like I say this a lot. Like we are just a small speck. In this time, and I want to be able to experience all of this. So that's exactly why we came here, because we've been to the beach so much. I don't want to go to another brown, green, or blue beach. You know what I mean? We'll do that again, but before now, like I want to start seeing like the countryside and all of this cool stuff. But,
we went to Park City, Utah 2 years ago because we wanted to do because our family is getting like older in terms of like my brothers, and my mom and all that mess, and so like we realized a couple years ago, hey, like let's stop buying gifts. Like this a couple years back, I'm like, we're all 30, dude. Like if I want some stupid electronic for $80, I'm gonna go buy it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, but my mom still has to like do Christmas. She always blows the budget, and I'm just like, Mom, like I'm 36, 7 years old. Like I can go buy an iPad charger or something. She's like, I know, I just want to get you for Christmas. So we said, hey, let's stop doing Christmas gifts. Let's do a little white elephant thing. So we do a little $30 thing, on Christmas Eve. And that's a lot of fun. But then we said, let's start like doing a family vacation. And like you just said, build memories. build memories. Like, let's go places. And so Liz had the idea 2 years ago to go to Salt Lake City, to Park City, Utah. And I don't know like elevations because I like I said, I've never come out this way. I think this mountain, Big Sky, is 11,000. Park City is like 7,000 elevation. So like, dude, we're like way up there right now.
I know.
Like this is way higher than Park. I think best I understand. But if you ever fly into that area, Salt Lake City, like dude, like the mountain range is like all behind you, and it's all snow capped, you know. Yep. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, those are mountains, and it just goes on forever.
Real mountains too,
dude, big mountains. And I'm like, you know, you come from Michigan. And there's like not too much happening over there. You go through the Midwest and it's all plains and you can see all the farms, which is cool. And then out of nowhere, like the Earth's crust just kind of starts peppering up. And then you got this huge mountain ridge. What is this, the Rockies or something?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Is it the Rockies?
Because, is it part of the Colorado Rockies?
Bro, I have no idea.
Me either.
I'm from the Midwest, bro. Sure. I got no idea. But it's like when you go out there, you just start looking around, you go, this is so beautiful. It's a different pace. Like you said, it's a different majestic. That's a good word to use. It's just like, it seems peaceful.
Yes.
You know, so, and that goes full circle to get in the trades. We've been trying to do like a kind of a traveling, you know, conference a little bit. You know, we got LAL, those tickets are on sale, by the way, if you guys didn't see all the hype and promo. That's why we're on a live stream for an hour and a half. So like you said, hey man, we come down for 10 minutes, promote LAL. An hour and a half later, we're still talking about it. I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to overhype it as we talk about it for an hour and a half.
Well,
but it was a good time
when you're having fun.
It was a great conversation, to be honest. So by the way, if you guys didn't get your tickets, we sold like 71 tickets our first day. That's incredible.
Yes.
Last year, by the way, we sold 52. So that's a great trend.
You know, it's funny.
It makes me really happy. I'm so glad to have that many more people come in right off the rip.
I talked to Naylor because, you know, I'm doing a meetup down at Equip Expo.
Yeah.
And so I've done meetups here in my own area. But we did one together last year, a smaller one. But this year I wanted to do it even bigger. And you said 71 people. Naylor told me about the Eventbrite thing because I wasn't sure how to use that. And so I did that. When I put the meetup thing, it was like, no one really knows who I am yet. But like 28 people signed up in the first 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Like, yo, this is crazy. And now we're already at 50 people. And I'm like,
that's so awesome.
Yeah, already for Equip Expo. And
this on Tuesday night?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Well, let's circle back on that in a quick second. Because, let's do this. So really quick. So LAL tickets, by the way, they're on sale, just to wrap that thought up really quick. And then trades, we're here for the marriage conference this weekend. 2 years ago, it was at, what's that place down in Texas?
Nashville. No.
Well, last year was Nashville.
Yeah.
What was 2 years ago?
Waco, Texas.
Waco, Texas. Yeah. And that was with Chip and Joanna's area, Gaines and all that mess. With
my wife. See,
the silos. Did you guys come that year?
No.
Okay.
This is our first year.
So I don't know if we're gonna rotate it back or just keep peppering it around. I'm sure we'll get back to Waco one day. I think Liz and Brittany are looking at a cruise for next year.
Ooh.
I didn't announce anything, but I'm just saying, like, I really don't have any solid answers, but we thought about doing a 4-day cruise. And then, because they got like the conference rooms on the boats. Have you been on a cruise?
No. And see,
no?
You do a cruise, and I've been telling my wife, see, you're always going to have the FOMO. Once you come to one of these events, whether it's a Brian's event, whether it's Equip Expo or something I do or something Naylor does, you see the value in it the first time you come, and then you don't want to miss it after that. So I've been telling my wife, like, I will never go on a cruise because I don't want the water to be all around me and I see no land and the Titanic and you know all of that.
Ocean Gate.
Now here you go, here you guys go, and you also know so. You know, so I tell her I don't want to go on a cruise, right? But then you have that fear of missing out. So I'm like, well, and you guys have put on such great events, right? Like every event that I've been to has been top notch. Even my wife yesterday, she says, I didn't expect any less when we got to here. And she was like, yeah, Brian and Liz and, you know, Caleb and Brittany, they always are doing something good. So, you know, she didn't, we came here and she was like, yeah. So, but when you go to doing a cruise, I'm like, I don't want to miss out on that. But also, I don't really want to go back on my word to say we're going on a cruise because it's going to open up Pandora's box because now she's going to go on and she's going to know. Well, this is an option, so we're gonna.
Listen. I'm not making any announcements. We're still. It's actually pretty reasonable price when you book in a group fashion because you save a bunch of money, obviously. So if we're bringing 150 people, like you get a pretty good rate. You know what I mean? So it's going to be pretty dope. My my mom, this is a total side story. My mom booked a cruise for all of us next year, September, just like as a family thing, you know, because she wants to do a big family thing. And I said, sure, whatever. Trying to figure out logistics with the kids and the ages. So anyway, my sister-in-law, she is not a cruise person. Like, she's like, yeah, something about being on a big floating, you know, hotel barge in the middle of the Atlantic with no land for 1,000 miles. She goes, it just doesn't really tickle my fancy, you know? And I'm like, Sarah, it's a floating food barge. I'm like, imagine a Hyatt hotel and an endless buffet of food. That's how I look at cruises. And she's like, I just don't see the
appeal.
The appeal, yeah. And so we've been working on her hardcore for like, dude, 2-3 months now. And she's like, there's germs and I'm like, Sarah, dude, there's all that same stuff is back at home. I'm like, wash your hands. Like, what do you want me to tell you? She's like, what if people like get sick? What if there's like a COVID outbreak? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, dude, and she's not like, you know, crazy or anything like that. If she listened to the podcast, she's like, you threw me under the bus. I'm not throwing you on the bus here. But we're still working on her too. So look, I figure like, hey, like this isn't the Titanic, okay? It's not Ocean Gate, for crying out loud. So you'll be all right. It's okay. But you decide.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to open.
You be walking around the main floor with a life jacket on just in case, like under your dress shirt, you know?
And they're so high. Like when you get in a cruise boat, you see them when you see them in person.
It's huge.
Me and my wife went to Miami, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're driving we stayed in Sunny Isles, and when you drive from there to go to South Beach, you have to go across this bridge.
Big bridge, yep.
Yeah, and then you just start seeing these cruise ships that are there. Like, I guess that's like a port where people come and get on.
Miami and Port Canaveral, typically.
Yep, and you see, like I said about these mountains, you see them on a picture, you don't really know how big they are. When you see them in person, it's like, oh my goodness.
Right.
When you see those things, it's like a floating the hotel that you see on the boardwalk, it's like push one of them over.
Yeah.
And make it smooth on the bottom and put out in the ocean, and that's what you got.
It's like the Empire State Building on like the water. Yeah. If you tilt it sideways, dude, like it's like 2 or 3 times the size of an aircraft carrier.
Right,
bro. Like they're ridiculously huge. And Liz and I, the one that we're gonna go with on our family, it's the like the newest boat, whatever with Royal. It's like the Icon or something like that. I don't even know. If you guys cruise, if you like, there's 2 people out there. There's cruise people and there's not cruise people. I've been not trying to convince cruise people to become cruise people because it's just like. People are like, man, but like when it's outside at midnight and there's no lights anywhere, and it's true. Like you look out in the ocean, man, there ain't nothing out there, bro. It's just you on this boat. But what is really cool is like about probably 50 miles out, you can see like another faint lights, you know, and that's another cruise ship. So there's like, dude, there's probably 100 of these things traveling the same shipping lanes, if you will. So you're never like that far away from a boat these days because there's always like 3 or 4 leaving the same port, like from Miami or Royal or Princess Cruises, all that mess. So I don't know. We'll think about it.
Yeah. So we've been
this went a hard laughs
for sure.
Therapy session. Well, Cornell, here's the problem.
We've been resort people, all inclusive.
No, I get that.
Yeah, that's fun. So
do you guys do like sandals or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we went to Dreams.
Yeah,
and the Now.
The Now?
Yeah, like NOW.
Okay.
That kind of Now.
Was it cool?
I guess it's like, oh yeah, it was like on the Apple things, like a 7 golden apple. That's where we got married at.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I just realized like this podcast is going.
We have no idea. Yeah, we'll get some business stuff, I'm sure.
When we got married. So anyway, like because of business, you got to think like, my wife and I, we don't look at each other like we're business arrangements, her and I, but your marriage is sort of like you're a business, and you grow that over time the same way you grow an actual business. And so we realized like when we first started out, we were already together for a long time. When we got married though, we didn't want to start our marriage where actually everything gets put together at a deficit. Okay. And so when we thought about it, I was like, I do want to get married and have a huge wedding and maybe have 150, 200 people there, but if we do, that's going to cost $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, whatever. And then how many people aren't going to come?
Right.
And then they don't come. And now I'm gonna be just to be real pissed, and I'm not going to want to talk to that person ever again. So
$100 a head.
Yeah, and we decided, and there's like infidelity, which I'm not going to have an issue with. I'm not going to cheat on my wife. I love her dearly. You know what I mean? And then money problems are the reasons why people get divorced, and I didn't want to have that hanging
over you.
Yeah, so we decided to have a destination wedding, and that was the first time like I went to all-inclusive resort, and it had like marble floors, and
That's cool.
25 of my closest friends came, and
That's it, dude. That's awesome.
It was awesome. And then the cool thing is like we were just starting out our life as like a real unit, even though we had been boyfriend, girlfriend, shacking up, as Dave Ramsey would say, for 10 years.
Okay.
But now we put this thing together, and because we didn't go crazy on a wedding to try and impress everyone else, that don't sleep in the bed with us, that don't have to pay our bill, that don't have to worry about our children.
I agree.
And now, 6 months after we got married, we purchased our house.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So we weren't in debt for a wedding.
Right.
And having pissed off feelings about people who didn't show that.
All the drama.
Yeah, all of that bull crap. Instead, we just started our life like, not that we didn't have debts, our own debts and everything, but we started our life like pretty much at ground level.
Yeah.
And then we started to learn and lose, you know what I mean, and continue to build this little starting at foundational level, right? If that makes sense.
I couldn't agree more. Some people that throw like 50, 80, 100, 200 grand weddings. I mean, good for them if they can afford it and it's part of the budget, or mom and dad are paying for it. That was not Liz and I's case. We were paying for our own wedding. I think we spent around 20 grand. Which was like, it was good. We got hooked up on a bunch of things. Like my brother's a photographer. My uncle ran the golf course wedding venue. We knew the chef on the golf course. So like we got comped and perked on a bunch of different stuff. And then the DJ, my uncle knew as well. So like we did probably a 30 grand wedding for 20 grand, but yeah, I just, people that spend like 50 to 100 grand on weddings, like that's a whole nother side story, but I'm just like, bro, that's a down payment on a home or a paid for 50 grand car, whatever.
And lastly on that,
each their own.
How old were you when you got married?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I think 20, like maybe 28 and 24, 27 and 23, something like that.
Okay. So when you're still that young, most people don't have a network of people that they've grown with over years that are going to, when you put that much money out in a wedding, you want to, not that you want people, you aren't required to bring gifts, but when you don't even know enough people,
right? No,
you're just bringing people that maybe you went to high school with. No, like I actually have a relationship with you and Liz, right? So if I have a wedding, like we're going to renew our vows now, we renew our vows, then we might spend some money because we have now built over the last 17 years.
Real friendships.
Real friendships, real people who want to come and support you. Not that those other people don't,
right?
But we just didn't have those type of lasting because we were too young.
Yeah, for sure.
So now that we've grown with couples. We have kids that we're friends with their parents.
Yeah, dude, we had 100 people at our wedding. Liz and I literally gave like 30 some seats or 40 seats to my mom's side, 30, 40 seats to her mom's side. And Liz and I had like 25 friends there because our rule was if we hadn't seen you in a year, we're not hanging out every day.
Right.
So like, hey, like send a gift, send a card. We love you. Like no harm, no shade, no whatever. But legit, like that was one of our like kind of tenets actually for the wedding was like, if we hadn't literally physically seen you in a year, just like people like clean out their closets, like, oh no, I want to keep that shirt. I'm like, bro, you haven't worn that shirt in 2 years. Well, I know, but I like that shirt. I might wear it. What? Why? Like, I'm a big declutter kind of guy.
Yes.
So like, I got a rule. Like 6 months. I actually watched a YouTube video once about like decluttering, and the guy said, if you haven't worn it in 6 months, move it to this side of your closet, and then go back 6 months after that. If it's still in that going to be purged part, then you need to purge it.
Yes.
He goes, so like if it hasn't made it through the rotation. He's like, put it in the holding file. And if it hasn't made it out of the holding part, then get rid of it. And that's how I purge a bunch of clothes. And, and that's just, it is what it is. But dude, I totally feel the same way. I just, we tell people reinvest as much as you can for as long as you can. And of course, in your 18s, 19s, 20s, 25s, you got student loans. You're trying to buy your first home. You got a credit card you racked up probably in college. So you're like already, like you said, behind the 8 ball. And then people are like, hey, now you need to spend 50 grand on a wedding. The peer pressure.
Yeah.
While you're trying to get 30 grand down for a home, and you're like, bro, like this is ridiculous, and it just stresses people out. I always say I told this Liz and many people. I said, if the engagement doesn't get you divorced, you'll probably be good to go, because like we had more fights being engaged than we did after being married, like family stuff and money and politics of the family, And my mom wanted like 100 invites. I was like, Mom, we're inviting 100 people. I was like, that doesn't, but she had 750 people at her wedding. Big Polish family.
Wow.
Yeah. And my uncle had 1,000 people at his wedding. I said, I literally, this is side note of YouTube and social media crap, but I told my mom, I said, I literally don't even think I got 750 contacts in my cell phone. You know what I mean? I was like, I couldn't even probably pay to get 750 people at a wedding.
Yeah.
But like, that was just different times, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Yeah. Like the different communities, And
people grow apart as times grow older. So
totally.
Like why this community has become so special to me is because I've been like craving family, growing up with a single mom. I did have a good family when I was younger, but then as you get older and the grandparents pass away, they're like the glue that holds everything together. Because
the matriarch.
That's where those relationships were before social media, before telephones and all of that.
Point.
For the people, because I'm 40 years old. So the people, my predecessors were like, they didn't have any of the technologies, right?
Right.
And so everything was communal.
Family reunions.
Yes. Yep. We did that all the time. And then as you get older, and it took me until I got older, like you need discernment. It took me so long because I was holding this against some people in my family. When my grandparents died, I felt like it was other people's responsibilities to pull this together. What I hadn't realized was like my grandmother was, she's the head, right? And then she had her 3 kids. And then everyone else was connected to my grandmother's 3 kids. But as you go down further down the line, their kids may move somewhere.
Right.
And everything spreads out. And then when my grandmother passed away, it's like now everyone has their own
world
family
thing going on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, I don't even know why I said all that. It's just, it's
well, you
cool.
said community and family,
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if it wasn't for graduation parties and maybe a wedding, every 3 to 5 years, I wouldn't see probably half of our extended family.
Right.
But it's also interesting, like making friends or relationships these days, like it doesn't take that long to like figure out if you align with that person politically, spiritually, financially, child rearing philosophy, right? Like there's some people that we hang out with, we're like, dude, never again. Like how they treat their kids.
For sure.
And not that we're right or they're wrong or vice versa. It's just like, bro, I'm like, hey, like, checkbox, check minus.
Yes.
I'm like, let's not, and you got to be mature on that approach too. But nowadays you can make friends and build community relationships with people and kind of know where a lot of people stand on a lot of stuff. But that also, in its own, aspect, to play devil's advocate, kind of makes all these little micro pockets of people that never interact with each other anymore. And you're kind of in an echo chamber, you know what I mean? Which kind of is and I'm a Politico, like hardcore. I try to keep it off the podcast as much as possible. Pretty much everybody knows where I stand on a lot of stuff, but I do so appreciate also like mingling with the other side, quote unquote, because I love to hear both sides. I want to hear, that perspective.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of wisdom that you can gain from hearing from somebody else that is on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, that vehemently believes with all their might, like their way is the right way too. You know what I mean? Because they got that same belief that I do, but on their perspective.
And I think that is, and that's the one thing that I've learned just in our community is like how to be able to have a positive talk with someone else who believes something differently than you do, because if you can understand what someone else believes, because I truly don't even give a damn.
Right.
I don't care what anyone does. You can be whatever you want to be, believe whatever you want to believe. As long as you don't try and hold me back from doing what I want to do to get myself to whatever my promised land is.
Sure.
That's it. That's the only thing that matters to me. And so if you can, you just got to be able to learn, bruh. And how can you learn if you only listen to things from your perspective? You only talk to people doing what you do. That's why I say when our podcast, the Lawn Care Power Moves podcast, I don't even know if you can call it a lawn care thing, because that's not really what we talk about. I care more so about the mentality and how people think. Because whether you are on the left or on the right, gay, straight, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, what are you doing to make yourself live your best life? Because I believe it's true. If you just be who you want to be, don't force it on anyone else. You just be yourself, then you'll be positive for someone.
Start planning today to celebrate the 40th Equip Exposition Trade Show this October 17th through the 20th in Louisville, Kentucky. Expo is the best place for landscapers to find the latest equipment, tools, and technology to get more productive and efficient. And then you can go into our 30-acre demo yard and test the products for yourself. Explore new business opportunities in one of our 50-plus education sessions and learn firsthand from experts in landscaping, hardscaping, irrigation, pool installation, tree care, and outdoor lighting. And don't miss the new Thursday night arena concert with Third Eye Blind and Dylan Scott. Also, there's our UTV test track and our main stage events with top-notch speakers like Brian Fullerton, all for just $25 per person if you register during our early bird sale. And you can even save 50% off that price with the coupon code Brian.
And I think that's what attracts a lot of people to what you guys are doing, with your meetup, your podcast. You guys got a lot of great stuff. Your YouTube channel, by the way, which Cedric Lau was bragging on you last night, 6,500 subscribers?
No, 58 almost.
5,800. Yeah. Where did he get some? Who got 6,500? Or did I
don't know what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a live show, so you never know. If you mess up, you mess up.
No.
Whenever I talked about LAL on our Monday podcast, I kept saying LAL 24 for whatever
You were
reason.
texting me that the other day.
Yeah.
Like, when's tickets going to sell for 24? I said, I don't know, but 23 is next on the 11th.
Yeah. And I was so curious. I said, what?
You said it like 3 times, and
Yeah.
I was like, I was going to correct you. I go, who cares? But I was like, on the 4th time, I was like, hey, side note, you're coming this year, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and I told Cedric,
you're so in demand. You're planning a year and a half out. I get it.
I
Big
said,
time.
Cedric, you got to go into the podcast and just cut off me saying he
whatever.
got most of it.
No, who cares?
Yeah,
Whatever.
it was.
Thanks for being my hype man, for next year.
Well, hey, listen, like we talked about last night is. Like I just said earlier, is like the fear of missing out thing. And again, it's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about Brian Fullerton or Liz or even the speakers.
Mm-hmm.
The speakers are all awesome. And that is a lot of time what draws people there.
Mm-hmm.
But what draws me there now, especially since I consider you a friend,
Mm-hmm.
is the relationships that I get to create and build with all the other people.
Totally.
The
So
first year,
used to get together.
right. The first year that I went, was 2021, I believe, and for whatever reason, you had me stand up and.
Oh yeah, I remember you on
giving
the
this
side.
Emotional speech, and you talked about me, dude with solo cuts. I think he changed his name. He was
Brilliant,
like landscaper of the
Brilliant
year
Gardens.
Or something.
Yep.
But you started asking people to stand up, and then you asked 3 people, and then I was the 3rd person you asked to stand up, and I was like, yo, he just I don't know what the hell you called me out for, but just stand up in front of all of my peers, because every person that comes to that. They're there for a specific reason, and it ain't to be a fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they legit want to learn. Because when you come to LAL, it's not Equip Expo.
Right.
Equip Expo, go be a fanboy if you want.
Yep.
Go look at all the equipment and that type of thing. But when you go to LAL, it's like it's real killers.
I've been trying to say that.
It's real killers that are coming to that.
We take the gloves off, and people are like, "Hey, can you just give me the audio recording or the event recording?" And we do some of that. We don't take too much out, obviously, but. Obviously, everything that gets said from stage ain't gonna make it out there in the ethos, because some of us would get canceled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's why you come to a live events, because it's no hold bar. We take the gloves off.
Yeah.
So it's I appreciate the kind words, and I had highlighted you and Dylan because you guys were going through a bunch of stuff, and I knew some of your story that you were sharing to me, and you had grown your company significantly, and you guys were going on faith and building this thing, man, and kicking butt. And I said the talk I was talking about was what changed. It was we changed.
Yeah.
We changed.
Is it worth it?
Yeah. I said, is it worth it? Like, yeah, it's been worth it to change everything about my life the last 6 years to be able to get to where we are today. And I said, is it worth it? And I'm like, ask those guys if it's worth it to change. Because look at what they're putting together. Because again, it's not about, for real, like you just said, to circle back on, it's not about us. Dude, we're just another guy. I'm just another dude. But like, we'll give you guys the environment to come win and grow and crush it together. And the speakers obviously do a fantastic job.
Yes.
I mean, Calfus is coming back. I know you're a big Calfus fan. I love hearing Keith talk.
Yeah.
He's my Mr. Motivation,
For sure.
And he came from way far back. And to see what he's putting together now, it's awesome. let's do this for time's sake, because I'd want to spend the whole couples retreat weekend with you.
Yeah,
I think we got our wives too. You know what I'm saying? So I was saying your wife would kill me if I borrowed you for 2, last night and then also in the morning. She's like, dude, go away, But I'm like, I just want to do a quick podcast. So we'll wrap up like 2 quick minutes, man. I don't want to gloss over it either, but you got a lot of great things going on. So, bro, go through the Rolodex. Like, what do you got going on? Where can people find you? You got the podcast. You got the Instagram Live. You get your meetup at Equip. You got the YouTube channel.
Yes.
Give me like a 3-minute rapid fire. Like, why did you even get started doing all this, by the way?
So I'm sure people have heard my story a lot now over the last year. I've told it to a number of people, but really I was working 2 full-time jobs, and really, I wouldn't say I wasn't miserable because I loved my jobs. It was helping to take care of people with disabilities, and that is very rewarding. But the pay wasn't rewarding. Like, I couldn't see how do I, to touch on what you talked about, like, keep the promises that I made to my wife, because I don't consider our marriage a business thing. But when a woman believes in you, like, she is investing her life into you. My wife left her family to come be with me. And I feel like I owe it to her to make sure she cashes in on, I'm the man she decided to hitch her wagon to. And I want to make sure that I come through for her. And so I would just be walking around the group homes, like, literally, I know you asked me to be quick, but I can't, because this is the real life thing, right? So I used to just walk around this group homes, just watching motivational videos all day. Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas, Jim Rohn, who's my favorite. Yeah. Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, all of these different people. And Keith ended up popping up somehow.
Isn't that awesome how he's like even a referred video?
For sure.
Because he's at that level, bro.
Yeah. And
he is. He's great.
His channel, the name of his channel spoke to me. So it didn't say Keith Kalfas on it. It said The Employee Trap. And I thought, well, let me see what The Employee Trap is. What the hell does that even mean?
Right.
The first video was him giving it was like a 3-minute video, him just giving out prices, and I'm like looking out this window. I'm like, oh, $245, 45 minutes, and I'm on a 16-hour double. I'm gonna make $120 after taxes, and I missed everything for this whole day. Like, my kids are asleep. When I left, my kids are gonna be asleep when I get home. My wife probably gonna be asleep too. So we won't be hashtag breaking those nuts loose if she's tired, right? So anyway, to get on to why I got on to YouTube is I was inspired and I started a business. Okay. That business, after about 2 years of just straight thugging it out, push mowing everything, driving all over the place, no route density, any of that, but just pouring into learning, right? Off of YouTube University, as they say. It's just learning about the different things. I was able to grow the business, and then I bought my first zero turn, and in that year, I took my family to Disney World. Oh, yeah. And I had never been to Disney World myself, and I had this dream of, like, Tinkerbell coming through my window like that commercial, going around, and she wakes you up and your parents come in, we're going to Disney World, right? So I always wanted that to happen to me. I grew up poor. It didn't happen for me. So I made it happen for my kids. That's awesome. And when I did that. You got 2 kids? I got 3. 3 kids. Yeah, a 17-year-old son, a 12-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old daughter. Wow. That's a spread. Yeah. But when we did that, this feeling of just accomplishment, right? Like, and it's a vacation to some people, but for me, it was a dream come true. Yes. All right. Yeah. And Lawn Care gave that to me. And it all started with a video from Brian, then going through all of that stuff. I mean, from Keith. Then going through that, led me to you. And then you helped more so with like the educational thing of how to actually operate a business. And this was early on. Yeah. You weren't you weren't the Brian's Lawn Maintenance of today. Right. 7 years ago. Ooh. You were just some guy in Michigan to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Who was out here telling me, and I seen this one particular video where you said, here's how you take a $75,000 business to a $300,000 business just by the whiteboard video. Yeah, spreading out linear and adding on more services, and that's when it really clicked to me. Like, oh, I'm not just a grass cutter. This is an actual business that I'm gonna have. Right. That's an old video. That's a goodie though. It's real good. Yeah, so, I mean, like, I don't know anybody makes video like that. Yeah, like on YouTube, it's always mowing grass or equipment. It was so good. Yeah, and then I thought to myself, like, this again. I grew up. idolizing Michael Jordan and Barry Sanders and, you know, and Barry Bonds, professional athletes who you can't fathom being able to do what they can do. But then I seen you and I seen Keith, and no disrespect, but you guys were regular ass human beings like me. Yeah. And I thought to myself, like, I want to like when you bought Thunder, I was vicariously living through you. And I was like, yo, like that's what I would like to have one day. Like, I don't want to have a Mark Bradley business, a $50 million business. Like, nah. Right. Like, all I want to do is be able to go on vacation and take my kids to Disney World at the end of the summer.
That's awesome.
Right. And so when I seen you, I was like, that's what I've envisioned success was, like I said, don't have to have millions upon millions. Right. I just want to be comfortable, right, and live. But you found a way, a regular life.
You found a way to do it.
Yes, but that was through the people on social media. So when I went to Equip Expo, I was on your podcast recently before I went, and when I got down there, people came up to me who don't know me, never seen my face. I didn't have Instagram really.
Was that your first time?
Yeah. And so no one knew me, but
we did the truck video.
Yes, that was that. So we had the truck video, so people seen that. No.
Wasn't the truck video?
No, the truck video was after LAL. It was after
because you got your plow hooked up.
Yeah. Yep. It was after LAL, though.
Did I come to you? Or did you come over?
I came to Michigan, and then I text you and tell you I was
That's coming. What it was.
So, but that video, that was a part of it, too. So, actually, when I went to Equip Expo, I had this hoodie on that had my caricature logo.
Yeah.
And so people knew who I was because of that, I think, because of my Instagram, and then I had been on your podcast, and like 7 people came up to me like, yo, you was on Brian's podcast, like, you're awesome, like, and I was just like, what?
Yeah,
like, I didn't even want. I was really against social media, like personal social media. Yeah, that's like, what do you care about me? I'm not putting my kids on the internet and all of that.
What you eat for breakfast, kind of stuff.
But then again, like the inspiration to getting onto YouTube was your question is like, and social media in general was like. Again, I seen you guys, and I seen the impact. And when that happened, like 7 people, and it led to Cedric coming up to me at LAL, and that was because they heard me on a podcast.
That's so cool.
You know what I mean? Or someone met me at Equip Expo, and then I thought to myself, I heard this Jim Rohn speech one time, and he said he would go to conferences and he would hear speakers, right? And he said he just thought that like if he could have that impact on people, that would be the best feeling in the world. And so Keith Kalfas at Equip Expo 21, when I met him, I was so excited. It was like I met like LeBron James. For real. It was crazy. When I met him, it was just like you changed my life and you don't even know me.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going, we don't have enough time in this world to not tell people. Right? Why should we wait until they die to tell someone how they changed your life? Why should I be fearful to go up and tell someone that how much they impacted my life, whether it's a man or a woman? And I'm a grown man. Like,
dude, for real.
I'm a grown man who thinks Brian is the same as me, but you had an impact on my life, and I'm not afraid to go out and tell that to the world.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so when I went up and I told Keith that, and I'll never forget that moment, right? He may forget that because, and maybe he won't now because we're actually friends, but I'll never forget that moment, right? And he'll never forget that moment maybe either. But I wanted to have that feeling. I thought to myself, I'll never forget that. But what that must have felt like for him. You know, I heard Eric Thomas say one time, he's walking through the airport and he said, a grown man came up to him. He said, I'm a grown man, man. Like, I don't really take pictures with other grown men and everything, but can I get a picture with you?
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Because
because you impacted me like that.
You know
what I'm saying?
I've been to Equip, and the first year I went, I was chasing down, for real, like a psychopath, all these YouTube, Instagram people.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember meeting G Packard. He's a YouTube channel guy way back in the day. It was like OG.
I remember him.
I met him. I'm like, holy shit, it's G Packard. And he goes, what's up, Brian? And I go, how do you even know my name? And this was like, I think last Equip. And it's the first time he came to Equip. And he's like, hey, Brian, because I do have, a bigger channel now, and he probably sees my videos, whether he likes it or not. But I was like, dude, like, you were one of the first 2 or 3 people I was watching on YouTube, bro. Like, I have a YouTube channel because of guys like you. When he had
Johnny Moe.
Yeah, him. Yeah, dude. Oh my God, him, Johnny Moe, Dirt Monkey. I remember meeting Stan, and I was like, but Stan was like a fatherly figure, you know, and I hadn't had that for a long time. And I remember like shaking meeting these people. I'm like you said, I'm 30 and I'm like shaking talking to these people. And I'm like, why am I shaking? And it wasn't like out of fear or looking like an idiot. It was just like out of this like, what do you say? Like appreciation, this reverence, you know? And I was like, bro, like you helped me learn like how to, it sounds so stupid, but like buy a truck or buy the right plow or like the right weed whip or just like how to like put my foot down and like not let customers walk over me, you know? And in Calfus, 100%, you know, I remember meeting Top Notch Lawn Care and a bunch of these people, and some have faded, some are, you know, doing different things, and they, you know, people come and go and all that mess. But now you're like one of the guys yourself, like people are coming up to you. Well, that's come full circle.
Yeah, that was the
crazy.
That was the like I know I went around about a way, but that was the point. Was like how I felt about meeting Keith Kalfas that day. Someone felt like that was me to them now.
Yeah, those 6-7 people.
So it wasn't like I needed to have the adulation of others, but it was like Keith helped to spark something in me that literally changed my family tree. Like now. He just gave me an idea. I had to go out and actually do the work.
That's the other half
to actually change my family tree. But he gave me the idea to believe it was actually possible, right? And then I went out and, you know, he gave me the inspiration. We talked about this yesterday, right? He gave me the inspiration. Then I got my family. I got my wife. I got all of the things that I didn't accomplish in my past that I can now change. And I might not be able to go to the NBA now, but I can change and work as hard as I would. Like it takes an NBA player to work to get to that point. I can apply those same principles to what I do in my little business and then make my NBA jump to, you know, in lawn care.
Be one of the greats.
And so whenever you asked me like what inspired me to get on YouTube, it was simply that. I wanted to just share whatever information that I have that might spark the inspiration into someone else, and then they'll have the motivation if they have whatever their motivations may be, and then they'll seek out more education, which might lead them to my friends like you or Paul, or Naylor.
That discovery journey,
exactly. And then what happens is, and this is me, it's like been a total over the last 7 years mental awakening. Like where you're changing and you're seeing like, oh my God, I can't believe how all of this actually operates. You live in your own little bubble and you think, oh, I'm just in lawn care and I'm going to do lawn care. I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to start doing shrubs and I'm going to do mulch and I'll do spring and fall cleanups and I'll do that. And you focus completely on that. And then you completely miss all of this other beautiful opportunity that's out here for you. Like if you already are doing all of these things, if you simply put it on camera, you never know. You might be the next Brian's Lawn Maintenance.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Like, again, I watched and had this adoration for Michael Jordan. I tell people this all the time.
Okay, so really quick, because you're a big sports guy, I can tell, like MJ, LeBron, or Kobe. Like who's
Oh, I'm an MJ guy.
MJ guy, okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of more of a Kobe. I didn't really grow up too much with the Jordan days, like just a couple years behind, you know. But my younger brother and I, like our dog was named Kobe. He was a black lab. We're Kobe people, rip, you know, but I'm not a LeBron James fan. I think he's just so, he's just like a rough dude, bro. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't seem like he's classy. You know what I mean? In the game. I don't know. Any thoughts?
I love LeBron, bro.
You like LeBron? Okay.
I love him too. I just think
it's so Jordan, LeBron, then Kobe? Like if you had to rank them?
If I had to rank, my top 5 would be Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Kobe?
Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and Stephen Curry.
Okay. I do like Steph Curry.
Yeah.
My mom loves Steph Curry.
So
my mom went to a Pistons game. We had seats and all this mess because my uncle had a restaurant, supplied food for the Palace way back in the day back at home. So he literally got like free courtside seats, and she would go to the game, and anytime Steph Curry came through, and then who's the slinky guy on the Pistons?
Durant.
No, on the Pistons team. I don't know. He was a lanky guy.
Tayshaun Prince.
Yeah, that might be it.
Rasheed Wallace.
No, not Rasheed. I think Tayshaun Prince. I think it was Tayshaun Prince, bro. That's so funny. So it wasn't Steph. It was Tayshaun Prince. My mom be like, Tayshaun Prince. I'm like, my mom's like 60, bro. And she's like his biggest fan. He got like a t-shirt. My mom does not get animated for anything, bro. She's chill. She's his mom. She gets there and she's like, Tayshaun. I mean, like, I'm like, Mom, like, hold it together. Yeah. But I was like, hey, if it works out, like, hey, uncle, you know?
Yeah. But
totally, I know, bro.
that's all right.
I was like, yo, whatever, mom. She's like, I like Tayshawn. I'm like, okay, so whatever.
No, I tell people this, like, so we're already doing it. Like, for you, bro, like you just, all right, I'm going to make some videos. These are the things I'm thinking, right? And you just living in your own Brian-ness, right? Like, if that's a word. So recently a Michael Jordan movie came out called Air. It has Matt Damon in it. And
I didn't get to see
Ben
that.
Affleck. It's an
Was it good?
amazing movie,
Okay.
yes. But one of the things that I noticed in the movie was like, Michael Jordan poured, the same as Kobe Bryant, everything into being the best and greatest basketball player he could be. He didn't really care about what everyone else was doing. It didn't matter if the coach agreed with it or not. Like, I'm going to go work my ass off and I'm going to go out and be the greatest. And because of that, in that particular movie, like, we all know and love the Jordan shoes, right? And all of that. But without him, he was the first person that like got royalties off of his particular shoe and all of that. He like changed the game in that way.
Okay.
But all he really did was go out and be excellent at basketball. That's it. And then they created a shoe for him. His mom says in the movie, a shoe is just a shoe until my son steps into it.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, and I was like, wow, like, the story is this. Because he just played basketball, when he stepped into that shoe, Nike promoted him. It made kids around the whole world want to be like him.
Wow.
Right? So Be Like Mike was a commercial, and he's drinking out the orange Gatorade bottle and all of that. All of the
Wheaties
crazy,
and all that
all
mess.
of the crazy commercials made a kid like me, whose father was in prison, who needed a role model, and he was a good one back in the 90s when there wasn't social media, or in the 80s,
Right.
where with any of the things that people may think about his personal life, I don't care about that. I was looking at the basketball player who was creating an imagination in a child, myself, like me. And all I wanted to do was be like him. And that is that's millions of young men around the country, around the world, right?
100%.
And so getting those shoes was like a status symbol. And I wanted those shoes so bad that I went out when I was younger and I got a job at the shoe store so I could get the discount, right? So I tell people all the time, because this is what the story was about. I tell people all the time, like, Michael Jordan, he introduced me to my wife. He had an impact on me, right? Through imagination, through just playing his sport, doing what he's doing. They videotape it through watching his games, watching what he does. And I wanted to be like him. So I wanted to wear his shoes.
Wow.
So then I got a job at a shoe store, and that's how I met my wife. She walked into the shoe store one day. You know what I mean? So, and the point is, all he did was what he loved to do.
So he pursued his dream.
He pursued his dream, which I seen, which inspired me so much so that I wanted to be just like him and play basketball crazy, get all his shoes and everything, which then led to me wanting to wear the shoes so much that I got a job at a shoe store, which one day my wife walks in.
Wow.
Here's even better. I had 50-something pairs of shoes, right? We got married. 6 months later, I told you we wanted to get a house. Well, I had all these shoes I had never worn. What do you think I did with them? I sold them.
eBay, crazy.
So Michael Jordan helped me find my wife, and he also helped me buy my house.
Wow.
Because I used the money from the Jordans to put my down payment on my house.
Were they like worth money and all that?
Yeah,
Okay, wow.
Yeah. It was crazy. I made like $10,000.
Jeez, oh Pete's, bro.
Selling shoes that I had already bought from 15 years ago. They were just sitting in a thing, and people wanted to buy them. So go figure.
Well, I did a talk 2-3 years ago at LAL. It was Who Wins When You Succeed.
Yep.
And so like he wins, right? Like he was pursuing his dream and he's doing thing and he's making his dreams come true. But you won because he succeeded.
Right.
Right? Is that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in that same boat. Like, what was the line you said when they're just shoes until my son stepped into them?
Yep.
That's a powerful line, bro. Like I felt something when you said that.
For sure.
I was like lawn care is just lawn care until Cornell Mack stepped into the industry.
And that's a thing for people. So you asked about social media. That I got on this long tirade, which I hope you guys got something from that.
Yeah.
But it's not just a business. And so when you see Brian, right? I used to think when I first started, and I texted you before, I was literally in the middle of shooting my first original YouTube video, which was my setup video from 2022, I believe.
Okay.
And I had shot it like 3 times. I was like, this sucks, man. This really sucks. But I was comparing myself.
I feel like I remember you texted me that.
I was comparing myself to what you do. And I texted you and I said, man, I just don't fit. I don't feel like I'm talking to anyone.
Yeah.
And you sit back to me, you're talking to you. You're talking back to yourself. And that's what I feel like when I talk to the thing. Like, people don't understand that you think I'm talking to you and I'm not. So if I tell you to be inspired, motivated, and go seek out the education, I'm telling that to myself.
Sure.
Because I was on the other side of the camera 7 years ago. And so I was like, because I don't need to be Brian. I don't need to be Keith or Naylor or Paul. All I got to do is be me. And my YouTube channel is just a YouTube channel until you see me. You know what I mean? And I tell people, like, you could be the one. I heard Ed Milet say that one time, like, you could be the one that resonates. Maybe Brian don't resonate with this person that's out here in the world. And our job is to spread light to the world. And, you know, if you are a Christian and you believe it's to spread, you know, the Jesus's blessings and God's blessings to everyone, right? And this is the same thing. You never know what your video is going to, what you are going to resonate to someone else and how you might change their life. And so that was the whole, make it full circle. That was the reason why, like, I wanted to get on social media. And it's crazy because, like, this dude hit me up and was like, I'm his Keith Kalfas. Like,
dude, that's so cool.
You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It wasn't to get that. Yeah. But it was to know, like, I had an impact. Wow. Lastly, on that, like, if you create a YouTube channel or a social media page and you're giving value to people, man, this is how you live forever. Like Brian, you know, Keith, the people who are out here putting things together so people can change their family tree, like a Dave Ramsey. I know you're.
I like Dave. You know, I like Dave. I don't like a lot of things Dave says. Yeah, but I think he's a good person, obviously.
Right, and so you could be the catalyst. You know what I mean? The conduit to someone changing their family tree. Yeah, and I was like, you know, Keith says a lot. You know, he's responsible for creating like 10,000 businesses that he knows of. Right now, he don't know every one of the 10,000, but I think that's. Over 7 years, that's a safe thing to say. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know now personally that myself, I've already helped like over 100 people create businesses.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So that's what it was, man. It's like, just if I can help to inspire someone, you know, to go out there and to steal your tag phrase, go out there and crush it. Yeah. Then that's the reason. And I would encourage you, the listener, that you guys should do it too. You know, before it's too late. I say to my wife, like, you know, me and you are friends now, but it started with you just putting videos out. And I'm like, man, if I just had the balls 7 years ago when I had no experience in everything, but that was the reason I didn't want to do it. I agree. See, the crazy thing is this. That could be the reason why someone rocks with you. Because now I didn't watch Brian for 7 years upgrade your whole entire life. Yeah. I've listened to your story about you and Liz and in the small apartment, and we've seen Emmy grow, you know,
that's so cool.
Be born and grow up, and I've lived vicarious. Like, I feel like I know you, and we getting to know each other more now.
Of course.
But I already felt like I sort of knew you. You know what I mean? And so I do. Getting to be a part of that, and maybe someday having someone come sit next to me in a podcast in a damn resort, hotel, you know what I mean?
I mean, you're already there, bro. You're making a huge impact out there. You guys had 100 people on your guys' live stream for an hour and a half last night. Yeah, so you guys got to be doing something right. It's crazy. So people are watching, people are learning, people are listening. You guys are in a leadership, you know, position and role. So you're charged with that now, right? Yeah. So don't take it for granted, but also make us proud. Yeah, for sure. Because I tell people all the time, people are like, oh, I want to do YouTube and I want to get a social media following. And I'm like, why? You know, and they're like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this. I go, what are you going to do when somebody DMs you and says they're suicidal? Yeah. I said, how are you going to answer that? Why? I don't know. What do I say? I didn't sign up for that. I'm like, you better have enough stuff figured out in your own life where you can give some encouragement to somebody else.
And it has to be from a true, authentic place. Totally. If you come out here and you get on social media because you want to do something for you,
or just make a buck,
then that's exactly what will come off to everyone,
and you'll see right through it.
Yeah, like, I'm not out here trying to be a salesman, right? I just like, I'm an ambassador for Jobber now. If I make every video like I'm trying to be a salesman for Jobber, then I'm not trying to sell Jobber. How I do things, it has to come off in that natural. And does Jobber help me? Absolutely it does. Right. You know, and that's what I'm going to tell you about. I ain't trying to sell you on Jobber. Hell, do whatever you want to do.
We say the same stuff.
You know what I mean? Do whatever you want to do. But these are the things that I use to give myself this stress-free lawn maintenance life that I like to lead. You know what I mean? Yep. And so if you can get down with that, then come rock with me. If not, hey man, hey, go out and find your person that you like to watch.
That's right.
But be watching and listening to someone who has other ideas that can spark your imagination, right? That's really what it is.
And at the end of the day, like you said a minute ago, you might not resonate or relate to every single person. Like there's people that find Kalfas, then they watch a video that, because Kalfas and I will do a couple of videos a year because, lives an hour down the road. I'll go over to his place. He'll come over to my place and we'll shoot some fun videos and, just day in the life stuff or mowing vlogs or whatever. Then they'll like find my videos and they'll find the podcast and the podcast promoting the LAL. Then they go to LAL, then they come to the event, LAL, and then they're like, holy crap. Then they make friends with Cornell and then they're on your podcast and you guys are doing a live event or, a meetup 2 years later.
Yeah.
It's like the wildest. What is that? You know what I mean? Like, what is, like, I got people all the time like, man, I was just watching some videos about how to like edge a curb, and the next thing I know, I'm at a conference with 400 people.
Because you realize
it's crazy.
Man, it's crazy to be part of something. Like we are communal. Human beings are communal.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And when you find a group of people who are doing positive things, like I don't want to be a part of no radical group that's like doing harm to people and promoting bad things in your mind. In our community, you go to LAL or you come to the 2023 Winning Life meetup down at Equip with me, or any of the meetups that we do up here, or just get around. That's like you're in the midst of positivity, and all that does is breed your imagination to go out. Because again, I started to watch you guys because I wanted to be better at grass.
Yeah.
At cutting grass.
Totally.
Like, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then
making money.
And making money and then doing a business. But what I've come to realize is like, I learned that now. Like, now I know. Like, money's no object, you know what I mean? And it's not because I'm rich, it's just because I know I could go out and make it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But now it becomes like, I'm part of a community. And then within my community, it's like a family.
Yep.
And within your family, do you want to get things given to you, or do you want to give? I prefer to give. I like to see, especially now, like, I remember I used to be the cheap person, and I heard Dave Ramsey say this one: how you tip says more about you than it does about the person who's serving you.
Sure.
Right? And so now I take great pride in going to a restaurant, like no longer looking at what the price of the meal is, and then really blessing my server, the person that comes. And if they did bad, and this isn't often, but if someone's doing, maybe they seem like they're having a bad day, and I'll just drop them $100 tip.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then we just leave. I don't need them to see it, but sometimes they do see it, and they'll come right back over to you, tears in their eyes, welling up, and I just say, you don't even need to say thank you.
Yeah.
Look, man, God bless you.
That's so cool, man. I mean? That's so cool.
Yep. And that's what being a part of this community, it helped me to get to that point, because you just want to make sure that you leave people with the spirit of increase. You know what I mean?
Blessed to be a blessing.
You never know.
Blessed to be a blessing.
That person that you smile at, that I told this story on Paul's podcast, but I play flag football, and this kid, this team didn't know the rules. They did a pitch behind the line, and you can't do that. The dude ran a touchdown and got called back with a flag. He was mad about the flag. I said something, and I said something that wasn't really nothing, and then he said something smart back. Yeah. And I just said, learn the rules. I can cuss on here. I said, learn the rules, dumbass. Yeah. Right. And so for the next like 2 or 3 plays, because they were still on offense, he wouldn't stop looking at me. Right. So he wouldn't stop looking at me.
Got the chip.
It happened to be cold that day. He had a wife beater t-shirt on, and he's looking at me. And I finally, I'm like, bro, you got a problem or something? Yeah. He ain't say nothing back. He just kept looking at me. And then a tear rolled down his face. Oh. Like he was really emotional about it. And so, man, I just, that was just sitting on me. Like we destroyed that team and whatever. Even after the game, like we shook hands or whatever, he looked at me. He was still looking at me. So I said, we're standing over on the sideline. I'm talking to my team. Like we're like laughing about it, right? Yeah. And they're all laughing about it. This dude's away from me, still looking at me. So I'll go walk over to him, and I'm like, bruh, what's going on, man? You want to do something to me or something? He was like, nah. You never know again how you're affecting someone with your words, right? I called him a dumbass. His mom had recently passed away. Oh, jeez. Yeah. She used to call him a dumbass. Oh, wow. So that hit him. When I just that word, that hit him. And he like literally, I just said, I apologize, bro. I didn't know, and I didn't want to hurt your feelings or anything. He gave me a hug and started crying.
Wow.
His mom had just passed away.
Yeah.
Now, that dumbass, well, I don't know if, I doubt it was a term of endearment, but it was something that made him think of his mom.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And in that moment, you never know like how you're going to hurt or help someone. So I want to tend to be on the side of helping, you know what I mean? So after I apologized to him, man, we want to smile. Now, every time I see him, we shake hands, we're friends.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? So you always want to leave people with the spirit of increase, and never, like, I didn't want that guy to leave that day, and he's stewing on that. He might go to his regular job, and someone might, whatever his job is, man, they might step on his foot.
Yep.
And he goes crazy because of something that had happened. So, man, leave people with the spirit of increase.
I love it, man. I love it. So much wisdom, so much wise words. We went for a short and sweet 1 hour in 1 minute. No shocker when you and I get together. We both like to talk. We both like to serve, like to bless people, man, like to give. You got a great thing going on, man, and just a great spirit. So keep it going for real.
I forgot to plug everything. What is that? What's that noise?
It could be the helicopter or a jet, or I don't know. Did you see the helicopter out there?
I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, they're building some restaurant, I guess, at the top of the mountain.
Yeah,
to go full circle while
there's
we're here.
Cranes up there.
Yeah. Well, it's the lift. So like you lift up there.
Oh.
And I don't know if it's gonna be one of those like gondola, lifts. But they're building like some $5 million restaurant or something like that at the top of the mountain. Yeah, they had something like that at Park City. You got to like take a ski lift and all this mess to the St. Regis and all this mess. I'm like, bro, like I'm not buying a $38 burger. You know what I mean? Like maybe one day, but I told Liz, I said, until we make it in a day, we ain't spending it in a day. And so I said, those rooms are like 2-3 G's a night. So I said, there's always a bigger fish, like you were talking about earlier. So we're still learning and growing together, man. Speaking of which, where can people find you? We'll button up really quick because we're gonna go shoot a quick YouTube video, and then you guys are gonna go paint the town, hang out, have fun, and let me know what you guys see down in Bozeman, because we're learning the area too. But you get the podcast, YouTube channel. Where can people find you?
Yep. So we got Mac Landscaping Lawn Care on YouTube.
Okay.
Videos. I try and put
one or two a week.
Yeah. It is a struggle though. I don't have like an editor. I do everything on my own.
Yep.
And I'm also working all the time. So it's been a little bit of a struggle. So it's crazy how you guys get all this stuff out. I'm gonna have to take some classes on that. But no, so Mac Landscaping Lawn Care on YouTube. We have the podcast, Lawn Care Power Moves podcast. Those episodes come out every Monday. The live show comes out on Wednesday in the morning, and then Friday for the podcast. And then we have the Instagram live show. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. on Instagram.
Eastern.
Yep, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Because we're in Bozeman, Yep.
And then I'm on Instagram, Mac_landscaping. So if you guys got any questions or you want to reach out, man, hit me on there.
Isn't it 412 or something like that?
Mac_landscaping 412.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. And is that it? I mean, we got TikTok and everything. Well, I don't really do anything on that.
I got you.
And Facebook, Mac Landscaping Lawn Care as well.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, if you guys see him at Equip, if you guys see him at LAL, if you guys see him at Trades, give him a high five. Say what up, though, as Keith Kelfa says, And
the 2023 Winning Life Meetup. I forgot to mention that. Yeah. So that's on October 18th down at Equip Expo. It's going to be 6 to 9 p.m. Executive Strike and Spare, which is a bowling alley.
Okay.
It's 3 minutes from the Exposition Center, 10 minutes from 4th Street Live. We're going to have 3 different games. The strike challenge, everyone stands up. We go to, everyone's going to line up. You get a strike, you move on.
Okay.
If you don't no one gets a strike, it's the highest pin count. They'll move on until we get to a final winner. That'll be the strike challenge. We got the highest game. Whoever has the highest game score, we'll write that up on the wall.
Is that Tuesday or Wednesday?
That's going to be Wednesday.
Because my guys are going to come down, and Rob and Mark are bowling people.
Right. Well, yeah.
Like, are you bowling people?
Well, I'm not sure, but we're going to have... I'm okay.
Dude, we can't go for another 20 minutes. My wives are going to kill us.
No. I know. I'm
just saying, you're either a bowling person, like a cruiser.
I can bowl.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can't bowl for shit.
Well, I can't.
I roast my guys about bowling. They roast me about other stuff. Like we're tight. Like behind the, it's the stuff that can never make the camera. We would get canceled. I mean, like everybody says stuff in the truck that you can't put on YouTube. But dude, the stuff that we say, like I come home, I tell Liz what we're talking about. She goes, "You're supposed to be a leader and an example for these guys." I go, "This is how guys talk." She, she's a girl. She doesn't get it. And I'm like, I'm like Disney compared to how most guys' locker rooms and, football rooms. I'm like, you have no idea. And she's like, really? I go, I said, guys are Neanderthals, bro. Like, we're just, when you get back to that primal level. So, but I always razz my guys about bowling, because Rob and Mark, they do like leagues and all that mess. And they're like, hey, man, we got to be done by 4 o'clock today. And I'm like, nah, why? You know, like, what is it today? You know, it's always like that with guys and employees. And like, oh, we got bowling, you know, and leagues, and they got their own ball and their own custom-made wrist guard, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm like,
come on down.
So I was gonna say, maybe they'll swing on by, because I'm hoping to bring the crew that week and just shut the company down, company trip. So send me the link and all that mess. I'll send it to the guys, because I don't know if I'm gonna go, because I got the little ones. We're probably bringing the camper and all this mess, and it's gonna be ridiculous. So I don't know like what my move about ability is, you know, that week. But I know those guys, if you have a bowling thing, they're like,
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Perk up, you know.
My meetups are always energetic. And then after the highest game, we will have the rock paper scissors tournament, which is always a crazy time.
Now, Liz and I would come for that.
People love the rock paper scissors tournament, and so we got sponsors involved: Jobber, My Service Area, SureCan,
cool.
Lawntrepreneur Academy, maybe.
Yeah,
they'll be sending us some stuff.
Whatever you need, bro.
And my guy Mo at Wells, he's one of the tall grass short people who's really doing, like, he really does. Like, I can't speak on any of the other guys, but I actually do know him, and I know like his heart is in a genuine place.
That's awesome.
Although he's probably making a ton of money with those videos.
Cool.
But yeah, it's awesome. So, and he's also, he has this thing called Be the Change that you want to see. Cool. So he's going to be sending some wristbands down to put into the swag bag. So
check it out on the website.
It's going to be awesome.
Where do they register?
I have a Linkbrite
in your Instagram
link on my Instagram link tree.
Okay, cool.
Yep, and it's also at the Road to Equip. It's pinned at the top of the page on the Road to Equip. So in Naylor's group for Equip Expo. So yep,
check it out.
Go down there. Maybe I'll put it in the LAL thing if that's.
Give me the link. We'll try to put it in the show notes if I can get it. If you can get it to me today, we'll get it to Mr. Producer. You can pop it in the show notes and people can register.
Yep. So all right, we got 50 people signed up, so it's gonna be a fun time.
It's gonna be a banger. Awesome. Well, I know a lot of people are doing meetups down there, so check out theirs. Mitchell might still be doing his thing. I was texting Mitchell last night, a little late night, and so he might have his thing going on at the whiskey brewery thing. So there's always a fun thing to do, whether it's at LAL, Equip, all that mess, guys. So make friends. Come on down.
For
like,
sure.
like we're talking to you. Like, you guys listening right now. Be like, I don't know any of these people. I know. You don't start knowing anybody, but you got to come on down, and then you start making some friends. Then you start making some best friends. Yes. And like you said earlier, man, you just start doing life with a bunch of people together. You get to know them. They get to know you.
For sure.
And, you know, you got to build those relationships, man. We are relational creatures. Yes. There's no doubt about that. So, all right, that's where I'm going to cut it. Appreciate you hanging out with me at Together Trades, the marriage conference, summit for couples in business. You and I spent more time together than I have with my wife this whole week. You know what I'm saying? But you guys are going to go check out Bozeman and the rest of Big Sky, and let me know if you find some cool shops and stuff, man.
Yep.
Cool. All right, that's what we got, guys. We'll button up right here. Let's kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer. You guys have a beautiful, safe weekend, and we will catch up with you guys here on the next one.
This is your invitation to Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2023 in Novi, Michigan, Saturday, November 11th. The lineup is power-packed. You won't want to miss it. Learn from incredible speakers like Leroy Maines, Keith Kalfas, Caleb and Brittany Allman, Sam Gimble, Weston Zimmerman, and Jeff Joyner, just to name a few. Tickets are on sale now at the early bird registration price of $197. And hurry, because seating is limited to just 300. Now through August 31st, purchase the whole ball of wax and receive a free ticket to LAL 2023, a $200 value. Once you purchase your ticket, you'll be added to our private Facebook group, where you can network with other attendees, get access to the discounted hotel room block, and get the inside scoop for the Friday night party, brought to you by Kohler. Thank you to this year's sponsors, Xmark, Sure Track Trailers, Yard Book, and Boss Snowplow for helping to bring this incredible event to life. We can't wait to see you November 11th, Novi, Michigan, at Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2023. Get your ticket today at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com or use the link in the podcast description. Lawntrepreneur Academy Live.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, No one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.